All right. Greetings, adventurers, and well met. Master of Dungeons here. Master of Dungeons Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ the Master of Dungeons. Back for some live D&D play after a little bit of extended vacation. We've had some things going on throughout July, so had a little bit of time off here and there from the live game. But we are back tonight with another episode of an adventure from the Keys from the Golden Vault. Tonight we're going to be starting Vidorant's Vault. It is the 7th level adventure from the Keys from the Golden Vault, the hardcover from Wizards of the Coast for Dungeons and Dragons. Um, for those of you that might be tuning in for the first time, we do play Adventurers League rules. The Adventurers League is the organized play system for Dungeons and Dragons and Wizards of the Coast. It allows you basically to, for your character to be portable. You can play your character with your home group. You could play your character at your local game store. You could play a character at a convention or online. As long as you keep your Adventurers League logs, you can go around and play that character with a lot of different people if you want. Um, let's go ahead and first introduce our characters. We're going to reintroduce them, I guess we should say. Um, the characters are working for the Golden Vault, which is a group of a quiet group, a silent group that works behind the scenes, supposedly ran by good dragons in the upper planes. But they do things that local authorities would not do. Kind of getting their hands dirty where locals would not, and of course, do good. Uh, Whatever the cost is the motto. So let's go ahead and start with Stinkfoot. Stinkfoot, go ahead and reintroduce your character forever.
Sure thing. Stinkfoot Alabaster Grasper is a 7th level School of Abjuration wizard. He is a deep gnome Sverfneblin with the urchin background. Bringing to tonight's adventure, I'll probably be packing my slippers of spider climb and my hat of disguise, at least.
All right, thank you, Stinkfoot. And then we have Snaps.
Yes, I'm playing Gimbal Snaps McCracken, who is also a deep gnome, but he is a rogue, a thief, level 7. He is very inquisitive for one of his kind, coming being on the surface world, leaving the Underdark because he escaped the life of poverty by robbing someone of very importance, of large importance, and he's on the run. So, good thing he's doing good with the vault.
Right, thank you, Snaps. And then we have Reginald.
Hey everyone, I will be playing Reginald, the level 7 Swarmkeeper Ranger. With his gaggle of raccoons, the Golden Vault helped me escape from prison, and I'm paying back that kindness by now doing work for them.
All right, thank you, Reginald. Everyone, go ahead and begin with inspiration.
Right.
Also, for our viewers, we have set the keys from the Golden Vault can be set in a variety of different locations. We've set our running of the keys from the Golden Vault in the fabulous city of Waterdeep, the city of splendors. Bring the characters over to that map.
And the city of no nonsense if you get caught messing around.
That is very true. And the characters are staying at the Troll Skull Alley at the Troll Skull Manor by one Braden Hawks. Is the owner of the Troll Skull Manor, and the bar that is there lifts spirits. And they do a lot of their planning as Braden isn't necessarily a member of the Golden Vault that's known of, but he does is a friend to the vault, as it were. And the characters stay there and are able to use that to plot out their adventures and plan their heists. All right. Of course, as always, a package is delivered to you. Inside that package, as you are very used to seeing by now, is a golden key that is delivered to you by a private courier, as is pretty much becoming the standard for the Golden Vault delivering you a mission. Here is the looks of that key.
Yeah, let's see.
Fancy.
And for everybody at home,
Yes, quite the fancy key that we have here.
Indeed.
Kind of looks like that hat that you used to wear, Stinkfoot.
It was a tiara, not a hat.
Oh,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
hat, tiara, I don't know.
But you, of course, get out your music box, inserting the key. The lid pops open, and it's the same soothing voice that you hear giving you these previous quests. It says, "Greetings, operatives. An heirloom diadem from a dwarven queen is in the possession of a master thief, Nixlana Vidorant. The queen's descendant, Samphith Goldenbeard, would like the diadem returned. The Golden Vault finds value in allying with his Silver Fingers Society. This quest, should you choose to undertake it, requires you to infiltrate Vidorant's vault and recover the diadem. Start by meeting Goldenbeard at the Yawning Portal. Good luck, operatives." With that, the music box closes and the golden key vanishes.
Those were sure some names. Can I bother you to send those to us in chat real quick? Just for
I will
notes?
definitely do so, not a problem.
This music box just starts talking faster and faster every week. Trying to scribble down in the back of my spell book.
I wonder if there's like one of those things like on record players where you can like adjust the speed it goes.
They're also the message is also getting a lot shorter.
Nixlana Vidorant.
I didn't even come close to spelling either of those, right?
Not even a little.
I had Nixlana starting with a V.
And I will drop those in the Twitch chat. Oh, you were already there.
Not a problem. So it seems that this Goldenbeard seems to be a descendant of the queen.
Oh.
And Snaps, if you would, please give me a history check at advantage.
Certainly.
15,
Right.
excellent. Yeah, being that you are a thief, 7th level thief at that, you've been really good at your job, so not necessarily there's not really a lot of people that know of your work outside of some of the thieves guilds. But obviously, you do recognize that the Silver Finger Society is one of the thieves guilds here in Waterdeep. But they don't. Not like the group. What was that? What was that one group called? I know I've got one of their the Agile Hands. It wasn't anything like the Agile Hands. But the Agile Hands were more of a guild house that worked second story work, robbing and thieving, all throughout the different um, sections of Waterdeep, the different wards of Waterdeep. This group specializes in higher end type of heists and such.
Higher end being a lot more pricey, a lot more money,
Mm-hmm.
a lot more danger.
And then, of course, you also, with that history check, would know that Samphith Goldenbeard is the leader of the Silver Fingers Society.
Okay. And we're just going to meet him right up in the Yawning Portal. Well,
Sounds like we should make our way there and see what this is all about.
Certainly.
We'll
yes.
keep an eye out for that hole in the floor as something crawled out last time we were there.
oh, yeah.
Yep.
That is true. There's the rather large portal that leads down into the Undermountain inside the Yawning Portal Inn and Tavern. But making your way there is fairly uneventful. It's a fairly nice, it's kind of early in the morning, just after breakfast, of course. The sun is shining as we have set this kind of in spring, turning towards summer. And you're able to make your way unaccosted to the Yawning Portal. And as you get to the Yawning Portal, just asking, the barkeep, Dernan there at the bar, does mention that as you've kind of not really become friends with Durnan, but he's definitely recognized you for a few times that you've been in the tavern, and kind of almost looks at you every time he sees you with kind of a gleam in his eye, almost as if you get the feeling that he might know who you work for.
Mm-hmm.
But never ever blows your cover. Says, "Greetings. I believe we have a guest in one of the back rooms there waiting for you."
Thank you, Durnan. Right on the nose, as always. And thanks for the ale.
Of
what I-
course. He does already have 3 tankards of ale setting up there. He also has a couple of glasses of wine and says, "Figure you might want something hard to drink. They've got nothing but tea back there for you right now."
Oh, appreciate it. I reach up to the bar and pull it down.
Okay. And one of the servers comes over, and she kind of leads you back into one of the back rooms of kind of setting behind the bar and kitchen itself. There's some private dining rooms. And entering into the back room of the yawning portal, you see an elegantly dressed dwarf with a polite smile gracing his face, and he kind of greets you and says, "Greetings, friends. Yes, I am Golden Beard. Would you care for some tea?" And he kind of gestures over to the table. You see there's a teapot with a little steam rising off of it, and some small little teacups.
I'd love a glass.
Certainly, certainly. And he actually comes over himself and pours the tea out, uh, and offers some to anyone that will take some. If you don't, it's okay. He's kind of raises his hand politely and nods, seeing that Snaps is carrying a tankard of ale.
Smells delicious, but thank you anyway.
Of course. And after everyone, of course, has served any tea that they want, you see him kind of dip his finger, his pinky, into his own cup, and he kind of tastes it a little bit before he takes a little bit larger of a sip and gestures for everyone to please sit down.
Thank you. How shall we call you? Mr. Goldenbeard, or by another name?
Oh no, Golden Beard is fine. Golden Beard is fine. Yes.
Okay.
First of all, of course, it is a pleasure to meet you all. Uh, I'm sure you might have heard of my organization, the Silver Fingers Society. Uh, Only the most elite thieves in the world qualify for membership there, of course.
I do a quick hand signal in Thieves' Cant sign language that I totally understand, and I appreciate his hospitality. While I'm
Yeah,
speaking about the tea, I smell it.
yeah, and he nods to you definitely. You can completely understand that he recognizes the thieves' cant. Well, I'm not sure if you've heard, but Nixalana Vidorant, my former partner, is no longer with the Silver Fingers. We've withdrawn all protection from her and her property, and we now have room in society for new members, of course. As such, I would present to you a challenge. Whoever brings me the ruby diadem of Erlin Blessador from Nixalana's personal vault will be offered membership in our society. As my family's descended from Queen Erlin, we want that diadem returned to us for years. You can keep whatever you want from her collection, but I advise against too much distraction. Nixalana has been a problem for me for a very long time, because she is very good at what she does. And just remember this, you cannot trust her.
Ooh, noted.
And here's the name of the queen. I'll go ahead and put that to the chat for you. And Roll20 and into it, or in the Twitch stream.
Thank you.
So Goldenbeard claims to be the descendant of this queen.
Okay.
And he looks around, takes another sip of his tea. He's like, "I'm sure you have other questions."
Well, you say Nixlana is no longer with you, but is and not to be trusted. How
Yes.
dangerous? Should we be worried about or concerned about any anything else? Guards or special traps? I mean, if she's this high of level of expertise from your organization, I'm sure she's learned a thing or two about how to keep things safe, so to
I'm
speak.
definitely sure that she would probably have something of that nature. I know that she might have some former guards throughout the city here of Waterdeep that might have
Ah,
been in her employ before. But
okay.
of course, perhaps maybe a bit of information about Nixalana. Of course, you might know that the Silverfinger Society is no mere guild of pickpockets and ruffians. Um,
Right.
the elite thieves of this multinational organization we pull off nearly impossible heists, targeting jewelers, national secrets, other heavily guarded prizes, and such. And yes, as I did mention, Vidorant was once a member of our Silver Fingers. She had joined decades ago, and we partnered together on many a different heist. Uh, we were friendly rivals and made a good pair, of course. She was very skilled with picking locks, getting into tough places, and I, of course, used my connections and quick thinking to research targets and talk our way out of trouble if need be. And of course, as the years passed, as a duo, we rose within the ranks of the Silver Fingers. But once I had discovered the ruby diadem, the heirloom once belonging to the Queen, Blessador, we uh, sought to steal it. And rightfully so, that it could be back in my family's possession. But our partnership abruptly ended when we stole it. My family, of course, can trace its lineage to the dwarven queen, who was captured in battle centuries ago. And I desperately wanted to reclaim this diadem for my family. Of course, the heist seemed like any other until 30 guards suddenly surrounded us. Vidorant nimbly escaped via the roof with the diadem in hand, but I was caught. I did avoid imprisonment by calling in many favors with powerful friends, but when I tracked her down, she refused to hand over the diadem, despite my family's claims to it. Of course, I still believe that Vidorant set me up to alert the authorities, but she claimed ignorance and innocence, insisting that I was covering for my own inability to escape the situation. But of course, our friendship and our friendly rivalry turned bitter, and we've been trying to outmaneuver each other ever since. And of course, our uneasy relationship changed with the death of the longtime leader of the Silverfinger Society. And I was able to call in favors, and unfortunately for her, I proved deaf to its internal politics, winning leadership of society and getting her expelled.
Oh. How long has it been in her possession?
A number of months now.
Oh. Is she a dwarf like yourself?
Nay, she's an elf.
Elf. Ah, tricky. Hmm.
Now, I have a counteroffer, of course, too, as he looks around, obviously seeing Snaps as the only rogue amongst the group. Ah,
Counteroffer, eh?
yes, if, of course, you're uninterested in membership in the Silver Fingers, I could offer you a reward of gold, of course, but I can tell you that the reward is far more valuable, far more than the diadem is worth itself.
Aha. Um, I will consider your offer. I cannot speak for my friends. Of course, they would probably take the gold since we're not inclined to be member, but I thank you for the offer. Let us see how this plays out, and perhaps we'll talk a little more.
Yes, well, I could let you know that, of course, Vidorant herself, she does have a house on Soldown Street in the North Ward, a couple blocks south of the Sword Maiden.
Ah, yes, I know the place. The Sword Maiden.
But the vault itself, she has her vault is on the outskirts of the city, I believe, somewhere just outside of the river gate, perhaps the south gate. As I mentioned, I'm sure there might be different guards that were once in her employ that you might be able to find in the city.
Ew. Um, with several of those guards being around the Solden Street house, or perhaps in a tavern of ill repute. Where would we might maybe find such guards?
Oh, I'm sure I can give you names of a few of them, as I have done a bit of research for you ahead of time, if need be.
Oh, excellent.
There is Tarolga Flathelm, a dwarf, that fairly gruff woman has a soft spot for stray cats. Um,
So when she got away and you were captured, did that feel at all like a setup to you?
yes, as I mentioned, I did accuse her of such. She feigned innocence, so I believe. Again, you cannot trust her. I do know the names of some of the other guards that are still somewhere in the city. I have not really known their locations, but of course, Talruga might be able to point you in the directions of the others.
Sure.
Sounds
While we're
good.
chit chatting here, I'm going to dismiss my raven and start resummoning it as a cat.
Okay. There's
11
another
minutes
guard.
from now, Skeg the kitty will arrive.
There's another guard named Baladir Josephon.
Okay.
Giniana Damaritz.
Mm-hmm.
Pelton Yawaris.
Ooh, I
Captain Boulder
spelled that
Sight.
last name wrong.
And Breland Fibblezot, sorry.
That's a name.
I'll put those into the Twitch channel as well.
Fizzlesot. Fibblesot.
Fibblezot, yes.
Sounds very gnomish.
Indeed. Baladir is a human. Giniana is a human. Pelton is a human. Captain is a halfling, and Breland is a gnome.
Good information to know.
Which is Captain? Captain is a halfling.
Halfling, yes. Captain is the halfling.
Pelton is a
Human.
Human, halfling. No. Cool.
Yep.
Well. Quite the investigation.
And Tarolga the dwarf who likes stray cats.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes.
Mhm.
6. Hopefully we won't have to track all 6 of them down. Maybe they're all having a get together or something. For old time's sake. Maybe we can talk to them all at once.
Well, if we happen to have a cat, which it looks like we do, we at least have a possible way in to chat with Talorga. Tarolga.
At the dock ward. Oh, down at the 6 casks. I've heard of the place.
Well,
Perhaps we should go there before nightfall today. What do you say?
Well, being from the society you're in, I'm sure you don't want to hear the rest of this conversation, but we will do what we can and be back as soon as we can.
I would not necessarily say that you are on a time constraint. However, I would let you know that I have put out this mission to many different members of the Silver Finger Society. So hopefully we'll get to the diadem before they do.
Little friendly competition. I wouldn't
He
have it any other
smiles.
way.
Smiles and sips his tea.
Here, here.
Okay.
Shall
By
we,
the sound of it, you know where you're headed there, Snaps.
Yes.
It's right around the corner, I think.
Not far.
Right down
Just to
here.
the south. Just to the south, yeah.
Yeah.
There.
Lead the way.
Okay, well, with a polite bow and a lift of my mug, I say goodbye to her golden beard and make my way out of the room.
And he nods to you and continues to sip on the tea and waves farewell to you. Again, you can step outside, of course, of the yawning portal. Of course, the yawning portal's here, location not too far from where you need to head. So you can easily make your way out to Snail Street, one of the main roads where wayfarers through Waterdeep, and make your way down to the Street of Six Casts. As you do, you do happen to see a older dwarven woman. Does seem to be standing off to the side and seems to be tossing cut up fish to some of the stray cats. A number of stray cats all around her.
Oh, that smell. I'll never get used to that.
All right.
Just before we get to her, I'll let Skeg the cat down. I don't know. Do summon cats crave fish like real cats?
I don't know. So it would be as your familiar a fae. Obviously, most likely not, but you can go ahead and have it go to take some fish as well, since you really don't have to feed them.
Yeah, I think as we're walking down, we'll explain the plan to the cat as best we can, communicate what we're looking for, and I was gonna ask the traveling gents with me if we want to present this as here's a cat we found, we heard you take care of them, or just kind of let it happen au natural.
Well, you could certainly have it wander up like it's curious about the food and be happy about it.
All right, that's what I will send.
Low key, incognito, just kind of. Oh, there's a cat. How friendly.
All right, go ahead and do me a favor. This isn't really to like stay hidden or anything like that, but go ahead and give me a group stealth check. Just you're letting the cat down, just to make sure that the guard really isn't the former guard, I should say, isn't really checking you out or anything like that. Happen to see you notice you doing that thing.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Good stealth check.
Great
Reginald
job.
and Snaps are able to grab Stinkfoot as they almost put themselves out into the alleyway, but able to drop the cat, and the cat, makes its way down to the old guard, and she sees it approaching. And says, "Oh, yes, yes, yes," and tosses a little fish in this direction.
I direct it to play along.
Okay.
Snaps, you want to observe for a minute and then we can approach her? Do we want to
Uh,
leave the cat to spy?
Maybe just observe just for a moment. I kind of, I'm always suspicious. I keep looking over my shoulder anyway, as needed because I'm, wondering about competition and others watching what
Mhm.
we're doing while we're watching what they're doing. So yeah, sure. As I'm fading with my stealth check, we're kind of fading into the woodwork.
If you want to make a perception check to look about or just around to see if you're being followed or if anyone else has that friendly competition was mentioned by Golden Beard, you can definitely look about if you want.
I would like to look about. Uh,
Yeah, about this time, it's probably about a little about mid morning now, after your time of getting down to the yawning portal, speaking with Golden Beard. But everything looks fairly normal. People going about their business. Normal day in Waterdeep.
it's good. I feel a little bit more at ease.
Hmm. And
And
again, she is just there feeding the stray cats. They jump up. You'll see her. She's got a small little brush. She's brushing them and such like that. Getting out any matted fur, things like that.
I was just about to say Reginald, our resident bullshitter, isn't here, but I'm going to wander up and grab my cat and say, "Oh,
Okay.
there you are, there you are," and apologize, sort of, pet a couple of the other cats, and just introduce myself to this woman feeding the cats.
Ah,
And I,
yes, yes. Nice to meet you. I'm Tarolga.
I kind of step up beside Stinkfoot and say, oh, you found her. Oh, great. Oh, Taroga. Oh, well met. My name is Baltu. How are you today?" As I pretend to stutter really
Fine.
badly.
You should probably really keep track of your cat a little bit better. And look at all of these cats here that the owners, perhaps strays, living on the streets. Not a good thing.
I apologize again. I introduced myself. My name is Taken, and I explained to her that Skeg, the cat's older sister, has passed away, and Skeg just hasn't been the same. Looking for some other cats to hang out with, and my friend and I have been spending the morning wandering around trying to track poor Skeg down. And sorry to be of inconvenience, and continue to pet the other cats.
Give me a persuasion check. Actually, no, my apologies. Give me a deception check.
Ooh. Group or just him? He's the one speaking. Okay.
Yeah. She kind of eyes you up and down a little bit. Not truly deceptive. Obviously, really didn't have a story planned out for it as you approached. But she kind of looks up at you and says, "No, I don't think that's why you're here. What do you want?"
One fellow cat lover saying hi to another. And I'll scoop up my cat, and Reginald's still with us
I'm
in
here.
the group. No, I here. Are you with our group, like in the area of this horrible failure of deception, as we're known for?
I'm gonna just kind of try and befriend the cats that are going on to show that, like, I figure with the whole ranger thing, I'm good with animals. Try and make a
Yeah. Do you
friend.
want to? Yeah. Do you want to use any magics for that, or you just want to do an animal handling check? How would you like to do that? Would you describe how you're walking up to the cats?
Ah, well, I can't do that retroactively, but I would do a speak with animals as I approach.
Oh, sure, certainly.
And just kind of chat with the cats. Hey guys, how you doing? Is this food
Fish,
to your
fish,
liking?
fish, 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 fish.
Yeah.
Everyone else is hearing meows. One says cheese, rats, fish.
No, not rats. Sorry, Stinkfoot.
I'm
Well,
just
I
gonna
didn't hear
keep
that.
petting the cats and
We
talking
we
to
just,
my cat.
yeah, we just hear meows. So
Yeah, yeah.
meows,
But
meows, meow.
kind of she does ease back a little bit, seeing the ranger come up and be fairly friendly. The cats are fairly friendly with them, and does pass you over, Reginald, some a little butcher wrap paper that has some sardines and such like that, and other cut up fish that she's been feeding the stray cats here. It's
I
like, all right,
very happily accept it, and then sit
Eat a
cross-legged
bit.
on the ground with the satchel on my lap, so all the cats kind of come over.
okay. And then she looks back to Stinkfoot and says, "Enough of the pretense. What do you want?"
All right, you got me. I'm a cat lover. I love cats. But we are here. We heard you may know someone that we're looking into.
Hmm.
And I kind of nudge over to Reginald, who's doing a much better job than me, and I just keep petting the cats and
Give me perception checks, everyone, if you would, please.
Gladly.
Fitting that Stinkfoot wouldn't get it. However, Reginald and Snaps, you see her glance at Snaps or at Stinkfoot's coin purse. It says, I might be able to give you some information.
Stinkfoot, give her some coin. Kind of elbow him.
Yeah, you can whisper over to him. Yeah.
I will happily flip her some. Hold on one sec. So I will confess, I put my control key as my push to talk, and then every time I try to move my map, it scrolls out to like
No worries.
negative 3,000%. So I can't read my character sheet.
Well, if it would help the cats,
I'll flip her a platinum. Why not? Get it over with.
Platinum.
He kind of looks at it and says, oh, very, very, very nice. A little light, though. Perhaps maybe half the weight I was looking for, but... And kind of stares at you expectantly.
I will kind of look over to Stinkfoot. As a cat lover, this is going to go to a good cause.
I make complete eye contact with her. I flip her a second, and then a third platinum, and then I go right back to the cats.
Ah, she kind of smiles at the third one and puts it down into her pouch as well. What do you want to know?
I gesture back to Reginald. He's much better rapport with her than I have.
Well, she looks over to Stinkfoot kind of being out of his element, looks over to Reginald being in his element, and then she looks over to Snaps.
Yes, we needed some information concerning a certain area, but in order to do this, we think we may need to speak with several people that are former guards of a certain person that you may have been employed with.
She kind of looks up and down the alley and kind of looks up at the rooftops a little bit. Says, "You're speaking of Vidorant's fault, aren't you?"
Yes. Has anyone else inquired about this recently? Huh?
Not yet, but I heard that Goldenbeard tossed her out, and that cut off all of the aid and protection from the Silverfinger Society.
Indeed. We are indeed looking for information.
Besides the coin, what other purpose, reason would I have to tell you of this?
Well, the cats. We could do something for you as far as helping you with the cats. You have a love of cats. Is there anything that we could do for you in particular? Maybe not right away, but very soon. We could be maybe a small debt to pay back, not necessarily in coin, but in favor.
Well, this coin is going to be plenty enough to take care of the strays from what I'm doing. But go ahead and give me a persuasion check if you would, Snaps.
Okay.
Do not. Hold on one second. Do not be fearful. The 15 platinum or the 15 gold pieces from the 3 platinum is definitely going to help out.
Okay. Here we go. This is not my forte.
But
This
a
isn't my
23.
forte. You.
On a
All of my
23.
rolls don't add up to that.
Sounds to me like you're doing the talking. I can't roll those.
All right. So basically, with that outstanding persuasion check, she does proceed to explain to you a little bit about the first floor of the vault. The vault is a building on the outskirts of Waterdeep. The main entrance is on the north side that enters into a lobby. She doesn't know much about the second floor because of the fact that she's not really been allowed up there too much, but she can give you a bit of information, especially with your 24 check. She does mention that there are some safes in the bottom first floor of the vault. There's some scrolls and potions rooms. There's an armor and weapons rooms. There's also a room where she keeps animals. There's a library and a break room as well. And the stairs going up to the second floor. There's also, you can access the second floor from a ladder on the outside of the vault that leads up to the second floor balcony. There are usually a couple of guards up on the balcony, and there's usually a guard that patrols the outside. She doesn't really know much about the second floor other than the balcony, and then Vidorant's space is up there as well. But she does not have much other information. And she's, of course, as she's telling you all this, she's sketching it all out on a piece of parchment for you and hands it to you.
Very nice.
While she's talking and sketching, I cast minor illusion and I summon a little tiny red dot on the ground. And
Fair enough.
eventually, depending on how this goes, the dot may run up her leg or it may just run back and forth around on the ground. And obviously all the cats are chasing it because it's an amazing laser pointer dot. And I've got all the cats just running around her while she's talking.
Okay.
At this point, I have like 4 or 5 different raccoons just handing fish out to the cats.
Okay.
There's like 1 or 2 of them that are just petting cats. Just vibing, listening to the conversation, looking at the drawing she's doing.
Mm-hmm. And did everyone see the handout?
Yes.
Indeed.
Vidorant's vault. Well, thank you very much for this. This will be very helpful.
And she nods, and kind of about this time, you see the fish that she gave to Reginald and that she had herself has kind of ran out. Says, well, that's all we need to talk about. I have other places and different wards to visit here in town.
Okay. One quick question before you go, if you will. We may be able to get a little more information from some of the guards. The former guards? Ginia, Pelton, Captain, Breland. Do you know what happened if any of them are nearby that we may have a chat with them?
I think the Balladeer might frequent a place called Lift Spirits
Lift Spirits. Okay.
up in the North Ward. And you automatically know that that's the tavern that is attached to the Stroll Skull Manor.
I think I may know the place. Thank you very much.
And she nods and says, well met, and she heads off.
It's a gym and a tavern. Lift spirits.
Well, Lift is the name of the spirit that lives in the tavern and helps out with cleaning and serving and things of that nature. And of course, it serves spirits.
Very cool. Very lifting. I think that she was wanting to give us information quicker than we were trying to get it out of her. She's She seems to be a no nonsense type of dwarf with all of her
Yeah.
cats.
I think she
You-
really
you-
likes me.
You were given the description that she was fairly gruff,
Yes, yes.
and you did make an exceptional persuasion check, way over the after the bribe from Stinkfoot. The DC check was only a 7.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Before we leave her presence, the cats want me to let you know they appreciate everything you do. Thoroughly. The little calico there has been fiending cheese. And the black one with the white boots has been fiending chicken. I don't know if that's something you could take care of, but they wanted me to ask.
And she will definitely say, "I will do what I can." And she walks over and pets each one of them.
Okay.
finicky, picky cats.
Yep.
All right, gents, let's head out right meow and head up to the clubhouse.
Right,
Right.
meow.
Right meow.
All right. So you're able to make your way back to Troll Skull Alley. This time it's a little bit probably early in the afternoon, just after midday, making your way back there. And entering in, you see a person that she described. You actually recognize this person. You really didn't know his name because, I mean, you're in the Lift Spirits often. You usually take your meals there. If you don't take them there, you'll take them upstairs. Get them from down here and then take them upstairs in the either in your quarters or attic or the common room you have upstairs as well. But the guy's a fairly pompous person. He also seems to hardly ever mind his P's and Q's and seems to be in his cuffs a lot.
Whoa. Well, this ought to be interesting.
And you can see him sitting there at the bar.
And we've seen him quite a few times before, recognized him as a regular?
Yeah, he's a semi-regular.
Okay. All right. So,
And he's just kind of sitting there at the bar. You see one of the servers come over, one of the lunch servers come over and set a plate down in front of him. It seems to have some steaming meat and some potatoes and other vegetables on the plate itself. And he kind of lifts up his mug and sets it down over there. And she turns back around, grabs a mug, and walks over to one of the kegs behind the counter, fills it up, and brings it back over to him. Thank you.
Oh boy. Sorry, that was a misclick.
Okay. I was gonna say, wow, go ahead. Just throw some mischief out there.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I think.
It went great with the cat lady. Go for it.
Yeah. All right. So burn a spell. Roll a d4. Nice. That's the one I wanted.
Yes.
I wanted to charm him with apple pie smells.
What's that for? Oh, for mischief? Gotcha.
Yeah. Succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be charmed.
All
DC
right.
15. And I'm hoping Reginald will walk up, sit right next to him, and order a slice of that fresh apple pie he smells.
He starts sniffing the air. And he takes another drink of the mead that he's got in the tankard there and kind of shakes his head. And you can definitely tell that it did not charm him.
Awesome.
A valiant attempt.
Next.
Okay.
Are you concentrating on that still? Are you gonna...
If I can tell it didn't work, I'm not going to.
Okay.
But if I didn't know, then
Oh, yeah, you definitely would know that he's
all
not
right.
charmed.
No, I'm going to just
Okay.
mark it off and drop it.
All right.
Well, since he's quite in his cups, I kind of lean over to Reginald and I say, any ideas? I can play up to him as a fellow drunk and just shoot the shit with him, unless you have some other ideas.
Disguise
Um,
yourself as the lady we talked to.
There's that.
Tarolga?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh God. Uh, what would I even say? If they both worked the same job, they would know the same information. It would seem weird if I
True.
was asking about it.
Yeah, true.
It's a good thought. I
You could
think they.
introduce your friend Snaps, who's looking for more information, and I'm sure you'll take care of him. And then you could boogie off to the bathroom, drop the disguise, and just come back and linger.
We could always say we were
Yeah.
sent by Tarolga.
There, oh yeah. Make it way easier, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Given my track record, that seems a little easier of a way to go.
Yeah.
yeah, and I've got my disguise kit. If I do come up, I would probably want to disguise myself for a little bit, just to, kind of help, uh, in case he's seen us in there before, or if he's gonna would happen to ever see us in there afterwards, just in case, So
Everyone, feel free to give me an insight check if you want.
yeah,
I'd love to.
Higher than 6. Higher than 6. Another 9.
It is higher than 6.
on a
It
9
is.
roll.
Again, Stinkfoot trying to overcomplicate all of it, as Stinkfoot normally does. Reginald and Snaps, you can definitely see that Bellamere, that's his name, right? Bellamere?
Balladeer?
Balladeer, sorry. Balladeer, yes. You can
Balladeer.
see that Balladeer is definitely pretty drunk. And it kind of also come back to mind. You really don't know the chap very well, but he does seem to work some sort of overnight job, as that's pretty much the only job he could get. So generally, when he gets off of work, he comes straight to the pub and starts drinking and probably having this last meal before we're heading back to his house and before he goes to sleep.
Oh, I'll nudge Snaps. Maybe you buy him a drink.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm just gonna. And this guy's, he's already there, so I belly up to the bar. I mean, actually, I chin up to the bar, chest up to the bar, since I'm a gnome. I get up as high as I can, and I order a drink, and I just say, hey, what you drinking? Whoa, what do they have good here? Good ale?
They've got good ale, good mead, a nice bitter. I'm drinking some mead right now, he says. And you
Mead.
can,
Oh,
but you want to buy me one?
yeah, I do. Yeah, I want one
Oh,
of those meads. Here, I'll have 2 of those. One for
hold
my
on,
friend here.
hold on. I need to finish this one first.
Oh,
And he
okay.
chugs it down, and you can see him starting to like slopping out the side a little bit down onto his tunic and stuff, and kind of sits down. Okay, I'll have another one. And you see the barmaid behind the bar kind of give you a little bit of a sneer in her eye, but she turns around and grabs another tankard and fills them up for you. And he proceeds to just like start mowing into the plate of food in front of him.
Yeah, I just
Balladeer. He looks at you and says, Balladeer thanks you.
yes, of course, Balladeer, yes. My name is Baltu. I appreciate your company. This is some good mead, and I take a swig of it, and I'm kind of playing it up that I've already had a few myself a little bit, and just kind of talking to him when in very simple terms, and since he's already there, and as he's
Mhm.
eating, I say, I'd really like to find some work. I'd like to maybe earn a bit of extra coin. I think I would like to find out some about where some maybe it'd be great to find out where I could really get a large amount of coin, like say a vault or something, or some safe or some kind of treasure. I don't know. It'd be
Well,
nice. I haven't
first,
had a lot of coin in a while.
First, do me a favor and give me a performance check. At advantage since he's drunk, since you're acting as if you're inebriated as well.
Oh, okay.
Well, again, he's inebriated, so your DC wasn't very extremely high. And he's like, whatever you do, don't go in the card business. Doesn't pay very well at all.
Oh,
And he goes back to eating some more of his food.
agreed. Agreed. Appreciate that. What is it with these nines? You started us on a roll here with all the nines.
Don't forget, you do have your chains dice macro.
Yeah, I may have to just
I
use that
will-
right away. Nines. Okay, so yeah, that was my performance as far as getting more information. I kind of am probably a little bit more. I say, yeah, you wouldn't happen to know, would you? You know where maybe someone keeps a lot of you know things that I maybe can help guard?
He's like, I used to work for a place. Vidorant's vault on the outskirts of town.
It was a vault. That's what I was just talking about. How'd you know?
And he looks
So-
at you kind of groggily and confused. Huh?
Yeah, I was just asking about getting some good work. That sounds like a great idea.
He looks down at his mug. He looks down at his mug and says, I just thought I finished that. And I starts drinking a little more and sets it down.
Where is this vault? I I'd like to be able to ask about some employment.
Go ahead and give me another persuasion check at advantage.
New dice. All
Nice.
right.
He's like, oh yeah, see, it's and he gives you the location of the vault. It's a small little area just outside the marching grounds. Actually, my apologies. One moment. I forgot how big this map is. Give me a second. There we go. Right near. It's actually outside of the south gate. If you take the high road to the east, and then you'll come to the South Cliff Way.
Oh wow.
And it's one of the small little areas down here.
Okay.
Good
We
to
know. And then
And he
one.
also describes to you what the guard uniforms look like.
Oh,
Okay.
Plain gray tabards. The majority of the guards wear scale mail. And they all have a blue plume attached to their helmets.
Okay. And then there's one last question without confusing him too much or bothering him. I ask him, well, if I was to go to that vault place and speak to these gray tabarded guards, is there one person I should speak with? Do you happen to have a name of another guard I could find or talk to, or someone else that even works there still?
Yes,
Maybe to
I
ask
don't
him.
know. I haven't worked there in a while, but I know that um, Breland, she worked with me when I was there. I don't know what she's doing now, though. I think she was working, I don't know, I think at an alchemist shop or something. Tinkerers, I don't know. You know those gnomes. He looks over at you and he kind of, his eyes glaze over a little bit. Goes, oh, you're a gnome. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I do know those gnomes. I kind of look back at my friends and kind of like, all right, just kind of give them a signal like I'm pretty much done with this guy. Thanks so much, and here you go. I appreciate your company, man. That mead was great. So I kind of put a few coins in front of him, just kind of offset the cost of his meal, and kind of look at the bartender and kind of just give her the thumbs up, so to speak. And then thanks, mate, and I hop off the bar stool and scurry around and find my friends.
Okay.
well, that looked like it went well.
And perhaps maybe a bit painful.
Yeah, it was. I get back and I'm like, ooh, the guy smelled. He hasn't bathed in a while either. Well, so some of those deep dwarves were bad. This guy, oh,
But if you want, everyone give me a history check if you wish. Since you've been in Waterdeep for a while, you can make it with advantage.
okay. 8. No, 18 for Stinkfoot. I was gonna say you nailed
That 8 is a 4, by the way.
it. Oh wow, I see it.
I sure hope we get into combat tonight because I am rolling fire.
Oh,
1 second here. Put this in chat for you.
Sure.
I'm tempted to mage hand tap him on the shoulder, and when he looks one way, tap him on the other shoulder and just keep him going. But I'll behave.
So that is the area you kind of from his drunken discussion with you, Snaps. You kind of make out the area that he was talking about as the tradesway or the trades wards, where
Yes.
Breland will be working is a place called Wiley's Tinkering and Alchemy. That happens to be on Soothsayer's Way.
Soothsayer's Way. Okay. Looking for Breland, and we already know she's a Fibblezot.
Fibblezot. Breland Fibblezot.
Fibblezot. All right.
Do we want to disguise to regular gnomes when we go to see her instead of dark gnomes, or
Well, deep gnomes, yeah.
Gnomes.
do you think maybe she'll see through it? And
Can we? Well, if she starts speaking regular surface gnomish, would we be able to pass that off? We probably speak deep gnomish language.
You guys have a weird accent. Where's that from?
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, we're from the south. Yeah, we talk like that down here.
The
I'll
deep
have a friend
south.
cast silence on her, and we'll run away.
Sure. I think that'd be that sounds fun. Let's be regular gnomes. Get rid of my gray skin, my gray stony skin. I kind of with that purplish hue that I usually have.
Mhm.
Put on a little bit of a disguise.
Okay.
How
And
did
are all of you using your hats of disguise for this adventure?
No, I was just going to use my regular disguise kit.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a
you
hats of
have
disguise.
gift of this Neblin. You can cast, starting at 3rd level, you can cast disguise self with your gift
What
of
about?
this
Yeah.
Neblin.
Thank you.
If I can make it show up in chat. There it is.
Yep.
All right.
I mean, I can't be a gnome, but
I keep
I'm a
forgetting
different
about that.
person every time I walk in and out of somewhere. So I'm.
I don't know if she would be less likely to talk to the two of us if we were deep gnomes and she was not. And just lighten up our tone a bit.
I'm a half elf
Okay.
today.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Yes.
So
Thanks
yeah, you
for
can make
that.
your way over to Soothsayer's Way. Obviously, you could, since it is just past midday, before you head out of the Lift Spirits, grab yourself your midday meal and make your way on down to Soothsayer's Way, arriving a little bit, a little late afternoon around this time. And you do happen to find Wiley's Tinkering and Alchemy. And as you approach, you kind of hear like a small little pop, bang, coming from inside the locale itself. And you see some of the citizenry on the streets kind of like jump back and look. And you see a small little cafe across the way. You see some people start laughing.
All right, I'm 0 for 2, so I'm letting someone else take the lead on this one.
Okay. I'm just going to stand there, and I'm holding a bottle of alchemist fire and a bottle of oil,
Okay.
and I'm just going to just kind of keep looking over at Reginald, and like I don't know what to do with these. Like I have this weird look on my face, like what am I doing? And I'm
Okay.
so
What are you
Say-
doing, friend?
exactly. I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to get their attention in a weird way. So I'm holding alchemist fire and I'm holding oil. Hopefully nobody bumps into me really
Are
really
you
hard.
holding this out in the street, or are you doing that when you
No,
walk
no,
into
I'm
the
I'm
building?
getting. I'm showing them that as we're going to go inside, as we go inside, I'm going to do that.
Well,
Standing
as
in the
you
middle of the
start.
street, wild-eyed,
No,
holding
not
these
in the
two
middle of the
things.
street. No, I'm telling Reginald this. I'm
Illegal.
telling Reginald that I'm
The
going to do
walking
this.
statues animate them water deep and start now. But no, as you would go to the front of the shop, kind of look inside, and you see a couple of people coming, rushing out of the door, kind of coughing. You see a whiff of smoke coming out of the building too, and stepping inside, with this kind of waving your hands to clear the smoke. You see a halfling standing over by what appears to be a gnome. Well, it looks about the size of a gnome, but her hair is all frayed out, and she has like soot and such covering her face as some sort of explosion seems to have happened. And the halfling, obviously most likely Wiley, the person that owns the shop, says, "Confound it! Freeland, you and your fidgeting. One day you're going to blow everything up and get us all killed. Now clean this up." And turns the rat back around and heads back into the back part of the shop. And she kind of turns around, messes with her ear a little bit, says, "Oh, Wiley's, what can I do for you?" And she grabs a bucket and a rag from behind the counter, and you can see her start cleaning off some of the area around where she was working.
And we're all three of us have went inside, correct?
Sure.
Inside. Okay.
Unless someone
Alright.
wants to stand outside for any reason.
No, so we're all inside there. I guess did she see us come in, or she's already heading into the back?
Oh yeah,
room?
she did. She actually saw you come in, and after she had grabbed a pail with some water and some rags and stuff, cleans her face off, and she even welcomed you to Wiley's.
Oh, okay. All right. And that's when I'll pull out the alchemist fire and the oil, and I'll say, "What was it, Breland?
Oh, don't
Yeah.
do that!
What am I
Don't
going
do
to do with
that!
this? What?
Don't do that! Put them
Okay.
down slowly. Put them down slowly. And you can tell she's already herself just a bit fidgety. The
Okay.
way she is, just in general. Just, oh, that was so close here. Here, let me have that.
And
Why don't you
I
have one of
take
your
them, and I'm like, "Oh,
companions?
it's okay." And I kind of stumble a little bit, and I make them disappear inside my, inside my clothes.
Well, give me a sleight of hand check.
I
Let's
will
see
do
if we're
that.
going to introduce some chaos. Let's see if it works.
Roll a 9.
And blows up a shop corner.
Luckily, you're able to
Okay.
get the alchemist fire away from the oil, but the oil does kind of get stuck for a moment, and she kind of, you see her eyes get wide again, and then you're able to put them away.
Okay.
Oh, that was very close. That was very close. Very close.
Oh, well,
Please come in. Just a small bit of a problem here. I'm a bit fidgety, and sometimes I mix the wrong components and such. But what can we do for you? What are you looking for today?
Well, my friend Reginald. I mean, not Reginald. My friend Guga here, Mr. Goog. He I think he was trying to find some information about one of his friends, but he doesn't know where to find them. I thought that maybe you could help me with figuring out what I should do with this fire stuff and this oil stuff. In the meantime, you could give us some information.
I might be able to help out.
Okay, great.
Well, first, I don't think you really should have to be told to not mix alchemist fire with the oil.
Uh, uh, I didn't want to drink it. I just thought it would be good to have one day. I'm not sure, but thanks
She
for the
kind of
advice.
she kind of looks around and is like, "You're adventurers, eh?"
Yeah. I thought it would be good to
Kind
have.
of looks over at Reginald in his half elf form and says, I take it he's the tank, been hit in the head a bit, huh?"
Did you say what
Oh,
was?
yeah.
What did you say my name was?
Of-
Guga?
Mr. Guga.
I love all the made-up names that everyone's using. If you can remember them from guard to guard.
Josephine and Balder Sick and Fibblezot and
I'll have
now
no trouble
Mr.
remembering
Guga.
Taken.
Well, I know
Yours
I
is
know where Taken comes from. Yeah, I know where Taken comes from.
Taken, yes.
Oh,
Just, well, why don't we just have a seat over here and you let me know what you need?
Okay.
And she kind of finishes up cleaning off the table, the little workstation where she was at, and she moves stuff around. Says, have a seat, have a seat. What can we do for you?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. My friend here says that someone he knew works at this place called this vault, and worked for someone. She was an elf. I'm not sure what business she was in, but uh, possibly some more guards actually worked there that we had heard of, and we actually even met another one. Do you happen to know? I mentioned Trollgun. Yeah,
cat
and
lady.
yeah, the cat lady. Yeah, and my friend here, I think that he would be a good candidate for possible employment there. He could actually, he's a rather good guard. I mean, he has been hit in the head a few times, but perhaps we could, you know, give him some good employment. Would that be a good place to work?
She
We've
looks
heard from
back
him.
over. She looks back over to the half elf. Says, "I guess he was the tank, wasn't he? He's definitely been hit in the head a few times." And looks right back over to Snaps. That's who she was
if she
referring
looks
to.
over to me, I just have a raccoon on my lap and I'm just like scritching its head.
She says, "Well, first of all, I wouldn't recommend anyone work for Vidorant. Very, very slick one she is. Not very good about paying her people properly and on time. I'm not sure who Tarolga is. She might have been before my time, but I did work with Balladeer. I'm not sure. He's, of course, pretty much been down since he left her employment."
Oh. Someone else dropped the name Pelton. Pelton, I think that he was supposed to be one of the best halfling cooks around the area. I even thought that he was going to be serving up some kind of great dishes. Is this true? Is he a cook?
Not at all, she
Oh,
says, kind of looking at you very oddly. And then she kind of turns her attention more towards Reginald.
okay, good.
And
She
she
turns away
said,
at the message that Pelton is a human and Cotton is the halfling.
Yeah.
Quietly
Oh,
muttering my book.
that's right.
Pelton's a
right.
human.
long-
but she looks over to Reginald and she's like, "Very sorry about your friend there. It must be very good to keep him with your company, with his mind addled as the way it is. But if you have questions, I could probably answer them for you. Not really on my good side, I should say, is Nixlana."
And I don't really say much else. I just kind of look over and keep looking over my shoulder and kind of scratching weirdly and just kind of twitching and acting really strange. And then so Reginald could take over.
Okay.
Apparently I've been hit on the head a few times.
No. Okay,
Well, I
let me say
have.
this. Yes,
I
she
have.
was completely
You're talking
referring the
about
whole
me.
time to Snaps because he was
He didn't
saying
get it.
weird stuff
Well,
that
he
wasn't.
got it, but he
Yeah.
didn't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
like, okay, now I'm a different person with a new name, and I've been hit on the head. How do I play this off? Find a friend.
She was
help.
she was
do it.
definitely referring to Snaps being hit on the head, asking if he was your tank because he seemed a little addled with what he was describing. Yes. She's looking to you as more of a person to kind of speak directly and such.
Sure.
Yes. Misdirection. Little
He-
misdirection.
He is quite good at what he does.
Ah, very, very, very nice. Very nice.
But we were hoping to get some information on her whereabouts and your experience working with her.
I see. Give me a persuasion check if you would, please.
You got it. Here we go.
Dum, dum, dum. Oh,
15.
That's
Nice.
the first double digits I've seen in a long time for persuasion.
very nice.
That is true. She kind of looks about and it's like, well, yes. Well, I can direct you to her manse, but the vault is an entirely different location. She does have a home um, in the. I believe they mentioned where her manse was already. Correct.
Yes.
Yes. Selden Street.
Gotcha. But she does say, well, if you want, I could probably give you a bit of a basic layout of the vaults if you need be.
I'll take whatever information you have. Everything helps.
So she starts jotting down basically the same map that Talroga gave you. But she does mention that you will note here, though, that there's a gym room right here at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
There happens to be a secret door right in the middle of that wall that leads to the outside.
Really?
Yes.
That is very good information.
I can tell you that Vidorant does employ a dozen guards to protect her treasures. She does have the three that are noted here on the outside. As you can see, there's two that are on the balcony up above, and the one that patrols around the grounds outside.
Mm-hmm.
But she does have 9 of them inside the vault in various positions. They are always to remain alert for noises elsewhere in the vault as well.
Nine guards. Oof.
2 in the lobby, it looks like.
Are you aware if there happens to be any sort of traps on the premises?
He thinks for a while, says, I do think that there might have been one. Let me think, she says, and that means the DM has to look at the map here real quick. She does note that inside the gym room itself, she does believe that there is a trap there.
Okay.
She thinks it was she recalls it being some sort of pit trap. If it's the same trap,
Mhm.
and there should be a switch to disable it nearby.
Noted.
But at that, you see Wiley come back from around behind the back of the shop, come back around the counter. It's like he's like, Breland, get back to work. Finish cleaning that up. If you're not buying anything, get out. He says.
I kind of start as he's still talking. I start browsing around, kind of looking.
Yeah, what do we see for sale?
Basic things like caltrops, anything like that from the player's handbook that you want to purchase, you can do that here. Like adventuring equipment, things like that. There's alchemist supplies you could pick up, obviously, herbalism kit, things like that.
Oh,
Um,
Definitely get this guy some more questionable potions.
Obviously, you could pick up acid, alchemist fire, antitoxin, um, ball bearings, caltrops, as I mentioned there. You can get glass
Ball
bottles.
bearings. I'm going to get
Um,
another set of ball bearings.
You could buy candles. Um, hourglass. Buy some lanterns and oil. Things along those lines.
Hmm.
Okay.
But she does let you know that Cavton, Boulder Site, the halfling, does seem to work for a new outfit called the Agile Hands, and deals in stolen goods.
Oh. Don't mind that roll. I misclicked on my character sheet. I'm not hitting
No
the
problem.
shopkeeper.
I was.
Come on.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything. I was just thinking, oh, there he goes, off the rails.
I have fireball at the ready, Otter. You just start it, and I will finish it.
This is not the town we need to be causing a scene
True that.
in.
Mad bombers on the street with alchemist fire. I'm pretty sure that's against the code legal.
That is very
Yes.
true.
Give 'em
But
a
it is
good
close
headline.
to about halfway mark of the stream tonight, 8:30 Eastern. So let's go ahead and take a small break right here. Use the restroom, refresh beverages, grab snacks and such. Allow the viewers to do the same thing. And we'll be back after just a few minutes. Please stick around. We'll be back shortly. All right, welcome back, adventurers. Thank you for that little break. Thanks for sticking around with us. We have some information from some of the guards. We've discussed, met with 3 or 4 former guards, got a little bit of information about planning your heist and your preparation. Where would you like to head next? Or before we get back to the adventure, do you have any questions or anything you want to talk about with regards to Dungeons and Dragons? Perhaps maybe the viewers might have some questions for us. Anything out there? Zard, anyone?
Yeah, sure.
Gen Con was a lot of fun. We had something interesting that happened to me over July is that we had one of our writers ghost us for those of you that might not know, I am the co-lead for the Dreams of the Red Wizards storyline for the Adventurers League and Wizards of the Coast. And we had a author ghost us a couple weeks, I think it was 3 weeks before Gen Con. 4 weeks before Gen Con, something like that. We basically, my co-lead and I, we had 2.5 weeks to write a epic adventure. For those that don't know what an epic adventure is, it's a multi-table adventure where multiple tables of players play the game. There's interactive elements, things like that. They can help each other out through the adventure. And then we had another adventure premiere as well. So we had 2 adventures from our storyline premiere at Gen Con. It's pretty cool.
For my own question there, kind of pinging off of talking about epics. Are you meaning to say like each of the tables are all part of the same like group? Is that how that works?
Basically, everyone plays the exact same adventure. And things had it's a timed event where so they had basically the first event, the first part takes an hour to play. At certain parts of the adventure, the characters, each table has a table captain and a team name. So the table captain will report the events to the headquarters, the HQ of the Epic HQ headquarters, and report the information in. When the players do, each table does so much stuff. They gather up information, they gather up points, they gather up different things that will affect the adventure later on, depending on how well each table does. And they can get what are called boons that they can keep for themselves, boons that they can give to other tables when the time comes in the final part. So it was pretty cool.
This might be my own chaos here, but does that mean theoretically through an epic there could be something that is forcing players to move between tables kind of scenario?
Of course. Yes. We actually had one where the characters could send one of their players at their table to another table to help the table out and finish up that portion of the adventure with another table. Like, say, for example, one table had like 3 clerics, and another table was light on clerics and had multiple fighters. As long as the characters achieved a certain boon, they could switch players at their tables and allow the other cleric to help out the table that was light on clerics, and allow the fighter to come over to lend a little bit more sword and muscle to the other table.
That sounds like a whole lot of fun.
I've seen some cool ones where NPCs, real people though, NPCs pop from table to table, and what happened to them at the last table impacts what they're doing to you at your table. Or like the NPC has 4 missions for you, and we're like, we're definitely doing 3, and then the NPC shows up and like, all right, I've got 1, 2, and 3 down. I need you guys to help me with 4, and we're like, we were prepping 3. So there is some amazing chaos with epics and NPCs, and I hear it's also fun with in person with real tables, but I've only seen it done on D&D weekends.
Yeah, we had 2, well, technically 2 roaming NPCs in the final part. One was the table could call for them once, but apparently we wrote the final part a little tough. So the HQ, some of the admins went ahead and allowed this person to come to some of the tables twice. But it was one of the NPCs that's in the storyline named Scorn Everhate. She's a drow assassin that works for the Zentarum. and they were allowed to call her to the table to give them a little bit of offense. So she would basically come to the table and do something very similar to a Steel Wind Strike spell to the creatures that the players wanted on their on the battlefield. And then the other roaming NPC was Zastam.
Ooh.
And he would go to the table and would visit every table until he hit every one. Then we'd go back to the beginning. And when he showed up at the table, there was all the characters were able to make an attack. Obviously, from wherever they're at, if they needed to be within melee range, they could make a melee attack. If they had sneak attack, someone was there, so they would give them their sneak. Their spells were always in range, etc. And then afterwards, he would do a massive attack, almost very similar to, but a kind of beefed up chain lightning effect, very similar to that, but with far realm energy. And then as he left, the players would have to make saves as if basically saving against a confusion spell.
And last question from me: why does Zastam sound so familiar? I know that name, but I don't know from
Baldur's
where.
Gate.
He is obviously from Baldur's Gate games. He's also in the D&D movie. He's the lich that is speaking with the Red Wizard via like a project image spell or something in there, and he's the one that caused the beckoning death in the movie. And he is he's the Zulkir of necromancy and the regent, the leader of Thay, the Red Wizards of Thay.
That's why I know the name. You said it, and it was just like pings went off, but I couldn't figure out where they were going.
Yeah. So that was fun. Plus, we got to meet. We had in our gaming area where we run our Dungeons and Dragons at Gen Con. Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford and James Wyatt and some other members of the creative crew would come over and sit and sign for the players that would come in. They had stuff available. They could go buy the D&D stuff at our Baldwin Games booth, bring it back over. If they could bring their own stuff and get it signed as well, which was really nice. I actually did speak with Chris Perkins about their D&D Direct, about trying to get it on the hardcover for the Red Wizards. It's supposed to be coming out in the next year or so. So we'll see if that bears any fruit. That'll be fun. Also, we had this. Let me grab this real quick.
Oh man.
I did not know there would be props. I'm excited.
Ooh, it's a book.
We have this for pre-sale at our booth as well. If you can see what that is.
Nice.
Oh, your blur is eating it. There it
It
is.
is. Big Bees.
Big B
Warriors of the
presents.
Giants.
Yo, I
Yep,
love
the
the
new-
art. That looks fantastic.
The new Glory of the Giants book. We had that available. It's supposed to be coming out at the end of the month. I think if you pre-ordered it with the physical and digital copy, I think it might be available on D&D Beyond now too. So pretty interesting stuff. It's got a new barbarian subclass in there. Some backgrounds. I really have been so busy even since I've got back from Gen Con. I really haven't even a chance to crack the book very much. But yeah, it was pretty fun.
It is in fact now on D&D Beyond for those of you
Nice.
who have things digitally.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And I have pre-ordered, of course, for Roll20. So when it comes out in Roll20, it will be available for you all to maybe redo your characters if you want. Because since we are playing Adventurers League, every time you have a chance to level, you can always rebuild your character. So if you're uncomfortable playing a wizard, you of course go to trying out the new barbarian subclass.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens when that comes out. But yeah. All right, so back to the adventure at hand. Part 1, Vidorant's Vault. You got some information from 3 of the guards so far. Is there anything else you'd like to do right now?
I think
Looks
head
like-
on. Yeah, I think we were going to have Snaps reach out to his criminal contacts and see if we could track down a name on this list.
Oh, the fence, yes. Captain. Boulder's Sight.
I'd like to use those thieving contacts, those guys in the alleys and that don't want to draw attention to themselves, to find out about this captain and this agile hands. I don't want to draw attention to myself with the agile hands, but at the same time, I'd like to get information about this captain.
Yes, you do know a little bit about the Agile Hands, as that was the group that you worked against during the Masterpiece Imbroglio. Yes, I believe there was a small little bar brawl in that, wasn't there?
A little
Allegedly.
bit.
Allegedly. Yes, R does suggest casing the joint.
Mm-hmm. Well, we would have two different places we could case. We have
Mm-hmm.
the house in the city and the vault itself.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
All right. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Let's check out the manse. We're already in the city, so let's go ahead and check out the manse, and then
Yeah.
hopefully I can get some information that comes through my contacts while we're doing so.
Go ahead. So go ahead and for laying that groundwork for getting information from your contacts. Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Okay.
What is your background?
That's urchin.
25. Okay, 25 investigation check. There we go. Yeah, you'll definitely be able to get some information about locating Caviton here shortly. But yes, as we mentioned earlier, here on Soldown Street, south of the Sword Maiden, is the manse of Nixilana Vidorant.
Mm-hmm.
What time of day would you like to approach this? It's probably about after having your midday meal, speaking with the last person you spoke with, the gnome at the shop. It's getting close to evening time as you hear 6 bells in the evening go off around the town as you're traveling.
As the low light is going in and the shadows are getting long,
Mm-hmm.
it would be a good time, I think, now as people's eyes are starting to adjust into the evening.
Something you could do as well, so if anyone wants to do this, it's totally fine. It would help you out with your investigation for your heists and such. You probably have enough coin now that someone might want to spend a little bit and pick up a spyglass.
Oh,
Oh.
I can throw down for that. What does a
I
spyglass
have one.
run?
That's what I was going to say. I think he has one.
50 gold. I bought one by mistake.
Aha. Well, we happen to have one.
I bought one and I just went with my mistake.
How much did you say it was? Because spyglasses are 1,000 gold.
1,000, yeah, yes. That's what I just said, right? 1,000.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know why I thought I would want it, but I bought it with like as soon as we hit that, and I have no money. But I have a crappy spyglass in my inventory.
That is good.
So we can go spying.
All right, so you're going to approach it at evening. You're going to wait till nightfall. When would you like to approach?
I'm making fun of Zard halfway, but I have dark vision, and I know Snaps has dark vision. Reginald?
I sure do not.
He does not.
Rock and roll.
Does have a set of goggles of night, I think, but did not bring them to this session.
I do have them, but I am not wearing them as they are not with me today.
Zard, you can only spy on glass with your spyglass.
Only on
That's why it
class.
was so expensive. It's worth the money.
Although
but
in
you can
my
also-
half-elven form, you would think I could see in the dark.
And you're stumbling down the street, and everyone's looking at you oddly. So yeah, here is her manse is right here in the middle. If you all can see where I'm painting there on the map. What area, from which direction would you like to approach? I mean, you do notice that from Tarsar Street, there's a fairly good eye on there as well. There's a couple of alleyways around the area also. Then there's Brahir Street, that's right there at the corner, has a good vantage point as well.
I'm thinking start with Tarsars. I was actually thinking of starting here, but then if something goes down, I don't want to be cornered. Same thing with Saldown Street. There's that little alley we could watch from, but if something
So,
goes shady,
so
we
come in
can't
from Tarsars and the open area,
come in
kind of
from
like
over
around
here.
on the corner of that building.
Yep.
Otter, is that? Do you think that would look good on the battle sheet if we bring that up for the viewers? Perhaps maybe
I absolutely can. Here
see
we
if
go.
it's not too much.
I can zoom
Ping.
into the area we're talking about here.
Yeah. And the manse is this manse right there. Yep.
That L-shaped little.
I like the sound of that coming in on Tarsar Street. Seeing what we can do at the alley there. That should give us a good vantage at least.
Since you don't have dark vision, Reginald,
Yep.
what since Snaps and Stinkfoot can kind of get a little bit of casing the joint from the outside, from a little bit of a distance. Is there anything you'd like to do, perhaps maybe closer at hand, near the manse itself?
Oh, I could pose as somebody and just kind of walk the streets and kind of meander a little closer and just kind of get a good look around the building to see what each of the sides look like.
Mhm.
It's kitty cornered on the street there, so I should be able to get a good look at the sides of the building that they wouldn't.
Okay.
Nothing too extravagant. Checking for windows, checking for that supposed ladder up to the second floor, seeing if I can spot that. No, sorry, that's the vault. Never mind. Just kind of seeing what everything looks like, see if I can possibly get eyes on who's around, who's in it, guards. Mostly big perception.
Okay. All right. So, first of all, go ahead, Stinkfoot and Snaps, give me some stealth checks, please.
All
Right.
right.
I'm going to send Skeg the cat in and tell them to keep their nose to the ground and let me know if anyone comes around that we don't want to be seen by.
Are you sending Skags with Reginald or on their own?
Just kind of around the house, just wandering. Let me know if we see anything. I mean, I guess, yeah, we'll stick with Reginald, but
Okay.
kind of roving guard.
And Reginald, what would you like to do? Do you want to do like maybe a performance check? Do you want to do a stealth check yourself to blend in? What would you like to do as you're getting yourself closer?
I don't think I'd call it a performance check because I'm not trying to act like I'm not supposed to be there. I'm just kind of wandering while looking around. So I think it would be more of a blending in, just kind of looking like someone walking around.
What skill would you like to use for that? Stealth or insight or?
Probably stealth would make the most sense for blending in,
Okay.
right?
Yep. Go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's sleight of hand. That's not stealth.
Oh,
That's a
That's
good
very
roll
nice.
for my sleight of hand, though.
Oh, look at that!
Nice.
Look at that!
All right. So, Snaps and Stinkfoot, you're able to get a fairly good vision. Areas to look out, looking through the spyglass. Give me a perception check with advantage, Stinkfoot.
Oh boy. Perception. Oh, come on.
Really difficult to see. You first time using your spyglass, you're like moving it around and kind of jump back as a crow gets very large in your face. That just happens to be a little bit of ways. Passing it over to Snaps. Snaps, go ahead and give me a perception check at advantage. Nice. It takes a little while to get used to, but you kind of zoom in into an area. You can see there appears to be some sort of dining room or something like that, and you see a number of figures sitting at the table. And the one that you notice stands out the most is the elf of Vidorant herself.
Ooh.
Can everyone see that?
Yes.
I have those same boots. I'm glad I didn't wear them tonight.
Oh, those are
Uh,
some boots.
and sitting at the table, there seems to be a muscular half-orc woman in a very fine suit and hat. There seems to be a sneering human male carrying a large leather case, an unkempt halfling with patched clothing, and a smiling elf woman bears a striking resemblance to Vidorant, but is definitely noticeably younger.
A younger elf.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That bears a striking resemblance to Vidorant.
Okay, so possibly a daughter
Possibly.
or something. Relation, maybe. Hmm.
What would you like to do with that information, Snaps and Stinkfoot?
Well, what do you think, Stinkfoot? I guess we should take note of who all is there and possibly think about how we could use this later. Sure how right now, but
Yeah, I don't. I'm definitely not going up to introduce myself and try to.
oh, I don't think we
be
should
a-
interact with them at all.
No.
No. So
If you wanted to message that information, though, you could to Reginald.
Well, you know what, Snaps? I think I'm going to pull out my piece of wire and I'm going to message that information to Reginald.
okay, that's a good idea.
I describe in the message what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Skag's still, walking near Reginald very deftly and quietly. Reginald, you're able to sneak up to the area of the manse where they had described to you, and give me a perception check. Oh, nice, 23. You do start hearing some voices, and it does appear that the window might be able to be cracked open if you do it very quietly to perhaps maybe even get a better sense of what they're saying inside. Are you mute? I think you might be muted.
Can I use a raccoon via Mage Hand to try and shimmy open the window a crack to listen?
Yeah, if you want to. Since you're using the mage hand, go ahead and give me a
That way, if
sleight of
they
hand.
hear something, they don't see me. trying to
Exactly,
open
exactly.
it.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a sleight of hand.
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, wow. Nice roll.
Nailed it.
Yeah, so you actually, with your perception, you kind of hear what they're talking about a little bit better once the raccoon opens up the window, cracks it open a little bit. And it does seem that they're discussing the situation with the Silverfinger Society. And Vidorant speaking, she's like, I just know that Goldenbeard is plotting something. I may not, of course, have anyone in the Silverfinger Society dare help me now because of his harsh words, but I do know that from a few informants and cronies from outside the organization that he's plotting something. And the muscular half-orc woman kind of steps over behind Vidorant as she's sitting in a high-backed chair and says, of course, you know that I've got your back. I don't mean putting my life in danger. He wants that diadem back. I know it. And the sneering human man with the leather case says something along the lines of, well, we've pretty much done everything we can with setting the traps, the different alarms in the vault itself. Um, did you ever decide on what you would like for the conjuration rune for the password? And she thinks for a moment. And go ahead and give me another perception check, Reginald. See if you can make this out.
Oh boy. I think I'm going to use my inspiration on this.
Okay.
That feels like very important information, and I'm glad I did.
Yes.
Good use of inspiration. Excellent. So
Woo.
26.
Nice.
And Nixilana says, Quixotic. Yes, use that. It's the password to bypass the conservation room.
You said the conjuration rune?
Yes, rune.
Okay. Yes, I could see. And I'm just going to quietly listen in case anything else pops up, but if they start getting up and moving around in the room, I'm skedaddling.
Okay. So yeah, majority of the rest of the stuff, she's just complaining about Goldenbeard trying to, kicking her out, and that she's going to make him pay. She's never going to give him back this diadem. She doesn't care if it was his family's or not. She's going to keep it for herself.
Well then,
Not
I
very nice.
am gonna take the rest of my time just to kind of scope out the rest of the outside of the building as I make my way around the rest of the block and start heading back
Mhm.
towards where Stink and Snap are.
Okay. One of the things that you could make out from the conversations, though, is that she is fairly brusque. She's very authoritative and direct, but she does listen with remarkable patience when anyone else was speaking with her. But she definitely carries a very, very strong aura of confidence about herself.
Actually, while I'm around the area, do I happen to see any of those guards with the attire we were described?
Not here. Those
Okay.
guards would be the guards for the vault. Yes.
I wasn't sure if she would have any on this premises and there. That way I could get visual eyes on what that looked like in person.
Gotcha.
That's cool. I do my lap and I head back towards Stink and Snap.
And you have gathered up.
How do you guys do?
Oh, well, we observations from afar. Stinkfoot was able to use his spyglass and saw a crow. And just from what we could see, it looked like she had quite the group with her. Well, and some very distinctive boots.
I do appreciate the heads up on the room they were in, Stinkfoot. That actually helped us significantly. The vault is both alarmed and trapped. They are aware that Goldenbeard is looking to get back his item. But I do happen to have the keyword that will bypass their conjuration rune that they've set up for their traps.
Is it swordfish?
It is quixotic. Are you still thinking about the cat lady? More fish. We've had enough fish for today.
Enough of that.
Okay.
Smell. I can't get over it.
Quixotic. What's that? Sounds fancy.
Does that word mean anything to any of us?
Not other than the definition, like exceedingly idealistic, something like that. impractical.
Unrealistic.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot
But
of intelligence.
doesn't really. It
Uh,
doesn't seem to have any like particular meaning or anything like that.
Definitely not me rolling intelligence to see if I know that word. I don't know what it means, but it's the key word.
Okay. Okay.
What is
Mixel
this?
click? What's Quixel lock? What?
What?
Isn't that some kind of fish? Or no, that's an axolotl.
Oh yeah.
Here comes. No, maybe not.
Yes.
Do not pronounce it wrong.
Here comes my.
Darn.
Especially since it's a password to a conjuration room.
Yes,
Yeah. Do not pronounce it wrong.
that was my main concern. Is that
Reginald, you're all over this.
Someone's a
You got the
giant
highest roll.
axolotl. Okay.
so?
I don't know if we can get any more information from here or not without causing suspicion. Maybe perhaps we should move on and try to find this. Find out if I've got any information about this other guard. Yes,
Captain,
Captain Boulder. What is it?
older sight.
Boulder Sight. Sorry, my writing was very fast at that point. Boulder Sight. Yes. So, do I? Well, okay. So I guess we should move on. Let's head on back down towards the south there. Unless you guys want to go back up to the Troll Skull Alley.
No.
Well, it is nightfall now. After this, it take you an hour or so to case the joint around the mansion and all of that. It is closer to nightfall. Already, it is nightfall. Dark has fallen. So, if you want to head back, you do know that your contact says that they would get the information back to you at the Troll Skull Alley.
Oh, okay. So yeah, definitely head that way then.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Let's back to base camp.
Want to change our appearance in case we bump into your drunken friend, or we're good?
By now, I bet that he will not be able to see much past 1 or 2 feet in front of him.
Well, if you recall, he was finishing up his meal and he was probably heading home to sleep because he's getting ready to work at this time of the night.
That's right.
As a night shift guard. Works as a night shift guard at a museum.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
I know what museum.
Mm-hmm.
That would make for an interesting adventure.
Your contact does inform you that Captain Boulder Sight is a fence that works for the Agile Hand, but he is a very quiet person.
Okay.
Very jocular, fond of making jokes, being humorous. But he's also a very, very private person because of his line of work.
Okay.
And your friend can set up a meeting with this person if you want.
Okay. Sounds good. Perhaps we could have an item that we could do some business with. I don't know if we've gotten anything that's well, most of the stuff that we've stolen, we've turned it back in because it's the item that we were trying to do good with. So
Yep, that's the MacGuffins.
That's right. So okay, yeah, well, yeah, a meeting would be great.
Maybe I'll try to find this defective spyglass.
Well, since you are back at your place, you can discuss what you would like to. You can either create something yourself, something you already have, something like that you want to fence through, Captain.
Okay.
I mean, we could always. I don't know
See,
if that would work.
what's that?
How long has it been since the portrait that was in the Agile Hand's possession decided to disappear?
That was 2 adventures ago, so probably a couple of weeks at least. Maybe because the weekend, the Forgotten Realms is 10 days, so perhaps a couple of 10-day.
Would it be worth maybe inquiring about purchasing the painting, as last you heard it was in their hands? I don't know.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because
so. Maybe so.
obviously, you all know that it's not in their hands anymore. But I see what you're saying, Reginald, is that you're inquiring about it.
Yes, we have a buyer who is interested in an item we heard was in your possession. Is there something we could set up? It gets a conversation going, because I mean, we know where it went, but we don't know that they don't know that we know it. Where it went. I don't know, just kind of spitballing.
Hmm.
That's good as any. That sounds like a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I don't have
what
a
do you
better
think?
reason to talk to him.
Yeah.
Because
So you're just basically setting it to where you are kind of setting up to meet him because you want to purchase something that you've heard that he might have access to.
we have been sent to acquire an item and heard that they were the last ones to have it in their possession.
Ah, okay.
So it's not we're directly looking to buy it ourselves, but our information has led us to them for a patron, if you will.
Sure. Okay.
Sounds good.
It gives Snaps something to leverage to start the conversation to get him talking, and then see where it goes from there.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
All right. So you are able to go ahead and take the benefits of a long rest.
Mm.
Yum yum. Give me that speak with animals back.
As Captain will meet you. Where would you like to meet Captain? By the way, where would you like the meeting to take place? Got a large map here at your disposal.
Well,
It's something cool.
we don't know where he works out of exactly, do we? So,
You know where the guild house is, but yeah,
yeah.
you know the guild house was up here.
Okay. So,
I mean, a halfway point would have been that yawning portal.
Mm,
okay. It's on the
I don't
south end there.
Know any
yeah,
good?
that's not really.
Know any good
Maybe.
dives there, Snaps?
Well, in between the guild house and where we are now, perhaps we could meet somewhere halfway between there, maybe around. So, are there any taverns in the block area between Skull Street and Dezornan Street, near the Holy Hands house?
In the Sea Ward,
Yes.
there's a number of different taverns. There's the Fiery Flagon. It's located on the west side of Seawatch Street, across from the House of Inspired Hands, at the intersection with Shark Street.
That sounds like a good as place as any.
Sounds good to me.
Seawatch Street. Okay. All right. Let's meet there.
Okay. What time of day do you want to meet there?
Oh, um,
Just first thing in the morning?
that would be good. That way we'd have the whole day to work on other things.
Okay. All right. So After finishing your long rest, you head off to find the Fiery Flagon, located on the west side of the Sea-Watch Street across from the House of Inspired Hands. To its intersection with Shark Street in Waterdeep. You do know that the House of Inspired Hands is a temple to Gond. The Faerunian god of craft, smithing, and inventiveness. Making your way over there, it is opened up for as many taverns do, not just open for lunch, but open also for breakfast as well. It's a fairly old, stately tavern. Fairly old in Waterdeep. It definitely can tell that the architecture is a few centuries old from the outside. But entering in, of course, it's got the wooden sign on the outside of it with a flagon that happens to be on fire for the Fiery Flagon. Fairly modest stone building. You do notice that there's a reinforced wooden door. As you approach, kind of glancing down the alley, you can see there's a large cellar doors on the outside. And as you enter in, you see that there's a hefty male behind the counter. As it turned, you can see that they appear to be human. And she kind of looks up at you and goes, "Hello, good morning. Here for breakfast. What can I get you?"
Oh yes, bacon and eggs, please.
Of course, we can do that. But we do have some rye biscuits and blue cheese.
Oh, no
Perhaps
blue
maybe
cheese.
some porridge or maybe some roasted leek.
That sounds good to me.
I'll do the biscuit and cheese and a jug of sour milk, please.
Coming right up. Anything to drink for you? Looking over to Snaps.
Yes. Oh, do you have a bit of white wine and some water? I'll water my wine down.
Not really much for having white wine here in the Seaward, but
Oh,
I
sorry.
might be able to get you. We've got some beer, some cider.
Cider it is then. Yes.
All right, there you go. And he turns around after a few minutes. It's only about maybe 5 copper for your meals and food.
Okay.
Looking about, you can see there's a couple other patrons in here. There does seem to be a dwarven female priest. Looking at her, having just passed the House of Inspired Hands, you do see that she does have a symbol of Gond on her holy symbol. Seems to be having some breakfast as well. And after a few moments, you hear the door open to the end again, and coming in is the form of a halfling. Makes his way over to a little booth in the corner and kind of sits down and kind of folds his hands on the table, looking about.
Um, as he's looking about, if he looks over my way in between sipping on my cider, I'll just kind of casually do a few signs to, invite him over if he's able to read that, which if that is who I think it is.
Okay.
As we have taken a corner table, I would think. Just kind
He is sitting in a little corner booth. Yep.
he's in the corner table. Okay. All right. So he's in the corner booth. So is it okay to come over then?
Sure. Yeah. If you want to approach, you can.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll just kind of casually walk over with after I've finished my breakfast quite quickly, and I'll say, "Good morning. How goes it?"
He kind of looks up. Are you disguised or anything, or you just look like your normal self?
I was thinking that I was going to keep doing the regular gnome disguise, not.
Okay. But you are dressed how your contact uh, presented you to the halfling.
Yes,
Oh,
the
okay.
correct dress, but I want to be looking like not myself, like the gnome.
Gotcha. And he looks up and says, "Oh, yes, yes. Please have a seat. Have a seat." Kind of glancing about. Not really fidgety, but you can definitely tell he's a bit nervous. Says, "Captain's the name."
Ah, yes, Captain. Well met. Um, I would I would like to let my friends know that it's okay to come over too, if it's okay with you. I don't want to uh, cause any alarm or impose anymore, or we could have our own conversation. What say you?
Whatever makes you more comfortable.
Okay.
I personally myself like jokes. Do you like jokes?
Uh, I do like jokes. Yes.
Oh, you do. Why did the halfling put his sending stone on mute?
Um, why did the halfling put his sending stone on mute?
He was bored of the rings.
Oh, boom. Ha ha. Oh, wow.
Nice.
Ah, did
That's
you get it?
uh, not really. I don't
Okay.
really get it, but it sounds funny.
Yeah. But yes. Bring your friends over. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. And I'll motion for the other two guys to come over as I'm
That was a
laughing
fir- that was a
more.
that was the first halfling joke I could find on a quick search.
Oh, that's
I
great.
like it. I
That's
like
great.
it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
It
It
was
was
a good one, only accentuated by the fact that Snaps just goes, I don't get it.
What is snaps?
yeah, see, he's
But
he's he's clever and quick, but sometimes things just kind of go right over.
but yeah, the barkeep
Intelligence
comes
of
over. Go ahead.
intelligence of 13. So yeah, yeah,
What's above average? That's not too bad.
yeah, not too
But
bad.
the bartender, you find out the bartender's name's Sane. He does bring everyone their food when it's ready. Brings does take an order for Captain as well. And shortly after, you see the uh, priestess leave, and you do see a male elf come in. Does seem to be bringing some sort of delivery to the tavern, and leaves shortly after. And after that, Captain kind of over the food says, "Your friend says that you're interested in brokering some sort of deal. As a person who deals with, how should we say, ill-gotten gains, I might be able to. Is there something specific you're looking for, or what are you after?"
Um, yes, an item in particular, of the art persuasion, an art type. Um, my friend Reginald, could you give a description of this piece that your friend would be very interested in? And I have another idea, another question for you, aside from our item, if you will. But first, this, yes, Reginald.
See, I see.
Yes, our employer's contacts were made aware of your possession of a Constantori's portrait.
He kind of stops in mid with his fork up mid mouthful, and kind of drops his fork onto the plate, and it's like, finishes chewing. You see a kind of a smirk come over his face. Not really angry, but almost like, ooh, ouch. And
And
he's like, he
last we
takes a drink
heard,
of
it
his.
was in possession of uh, the guild or group you associate with.
He kind of chokes down his food and drinks a little bit on the breakfast ale or breakfast ale that he's drinking, or mead. Sorry. It's like, well, uh, I didn't know that it was well known that we had this painting, but unfortunately, I can report that it is no longer in our possession.
Oh, that's too bad.
I myself am not really aware of the details of what happened, but I believe it was sold to another buyer.
Oh.
Hmm.
Hmm. Well, it was worth a shot. We tried. Well, thank you for that. And we are well informed, as you can tell, that we have quite a bit of information. But uh, in addition to that painting, that is a bit of a disappointment. Uh, what uh, what say you about any information about a vault? We actually are looking into some information about some items that of value that could be acquired. We have a few contacts that we've made recently. There used to be some guard at a certain vault. Would you happen to know a certain guard? And I give a couple of the guards' names. And I
Uh,
say,
Good.
I say, well, what say you about that? We would be very interested, and we could actually, pay you for any information you could help us with.
When you say pay, he's kind of perks up his eyes and kind of looks to you all, and then kind of looks down to the table.
And with that, I'll out of my coin purse, I will go ahead and then, I grab a few, I don't know, like as many gold coins that will fit in my small hand, and just put them there on the table. Maybe
How many?
20,
How many
20,
gold coins?
20.
20? Oh, okay. And go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
That's about all I could fit in my hand. Oh,
All right. Again, your DC was only a 7
oh, okay.
because you dropped it with bribing him.
The
Uh,
nines.
know a little bit about the place. Yes, I used to work for Vidorant, especially when we've been speaking with Braden and the others. They might have. What type of information have they given you so far? When you paid this amount of money, I want to make sure that you're getting your money's worth as well.
And with that being said, I just say, all right, this is it. We've got quite a bit of information, and we're seriously uh, looking at this as quite an endeavor that we want to undertake. And I just tell him, I say, we've got a bit of a map, we've got some information about some rooms, got information. I tell him what we've got. I don't
Okay.
give specifics. I just tell him that we do have information about it.
Okay. So what he can do for you is, let me pull up your. There we go. The map that you were given. Do, do, do.
First floor, second floor.
Yes. Um, Mentions that there is another trap in the art gallery.
Trap in the
See
art
that on
gallery.
your map there, where it says
Do.
art? Yes. Does mention that. Let me find this here real quick for you. That the statues there inside the room will breathe fire.
They can't be reanimated.
But you can. There's a tiny switch on the wall next to one of the doors that will deactivate those fire breathing statues.
Okay.
Deactivates the fire breathing statues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Awesome.
Of course, the other trap was in the room that was marked
The
gem room.
room.
gym room.
Yes, there was another switch, a small switch that you could find on the wall to deactivate the pit trap in that room. And does also mention that if you're planning on going in there, most likely, if you spend more than 10 minutes in an area, a guard will usually pass through. It's almost
Okay.
guaranteed. Almost guaranteed that a guard will pass through the room, each one of the rooms, at least once every 10 minutes.
Okay. Cool. Good intel. And I thank him for that information.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else of note that you can think of that would be advantageous to our situation?
It does mention that the nearby around that outside area there's not very much. It's a lumberyard nearby. There's a brewery and a forge.
We're in the forge. Okay.
And the vault itself does not share any walls with any other buildings nearby.
Okay.
Okay.
For my own brain, what was the race of the individual who stood behind the Viscount?
Rather large female half orc.
Okay. I'll look to him. And during your time of employ in this vault, did you ever see someone, and I will describe this half orc in the time of your employ?
He actually seems rather surprised. Says no, if that's someone working for her now. They've been just added to her employ since I left.
Okay.
All right.
Well, it truly is a shame about the painting. That will be some news they're not going to like, but hopefully the coin at least makes up for the time meeting with us today.
Of course, yeah, more than enough time for the time spent. And again, sorry that I'm not able to help you out. But of course, if there's anything else you need to get rid of, as it were, feel free to get back in touch with me.
Okay.
There's one more thing I need to know. How
Oh,
many halflings does it take to sharpen a sword?
I don't know how many, he says.
3. 1 to sharpen the sword and 1 to confuse the issue.
Fair enough.
We'll try
Fair
it.
enough.
Roll 1 there too, I guess.
Frantically looking up halfling jokes.
But yes, he does finish his meal, of course, and thanks you, and does leave the bartender a gold tip, since he was just 20 gold pieces richer than what he was when he walked in, and leaves you behind in the fiery flagon.
Fiery flagon.
Oh, well, the look on his face when we mentioned the painting truly was wonderful, was it not?
That was worth every gold piece we spent.
But good information nonetheless.
I'm just glad we weren't asked to make a deception roll when you mentioned the painting, because I was cracking up.
Oh yes, I just wanted to lay it on out there. Just give it to him. I didn't. That's why I didn't want to try to beat around the bush and hold back and just give him all the information.
Yes,
Just to see the look on his face.
It was
That was
sold
great.
to another person, I believe. Aha.
Aha.
Sure.
Oh yes.
Right.
Oh yes. Yes.
Right.
Not how I heard tell.
Our
It
intel
was
seems to be
disappointing.
better than yours is.
It was so disappointing.
But
All right, so ready to go scope out the vault itself, right?
Yes, indeed. Go across the city over to this area.
Okay, so my question is that do you want to go scout the vault during the day, during the evening, at nightfall? Once you scout it, are you planning on going back to Troll Skull Alley to form a plan of attack, or are you just going to like scout it out and then try to get inside? What do you? What's the plan of attack here?
Well, you had mentioned I was going to propose this to everyone. You mentioned that there was a brewery. I was
Mm-hmm.
wondering if maybe we could go to the brewery, and if if the brewery is, you know, I don't know if in this area that the breweries have tours where you can actually like see the brewery and try the different ales and try the beers. Maybe have a little common meeting room and just kind of hang out there, and then kind of start looking at the area, from kind of get a game plan from there, and then probably go back to uh, our manor after that
Okay.
to troll
give us a
good old
good
troll
look
alley.
around the area.
Yeah, just to kind of that's our ruse. It's like, why are these people just creeping around? Oh, they're interested in the beers.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We know there's
Sure.
roughly a dozen guards. 9 are usually inside the vault. It wouldn't hurt to get eyes on what the rest of that group are doing on the outside.
Okay. All right. So, making your way. The vault stands outside of Waterdeep, of course. The area nearby, as I mentioned, there's a lumber yard, a brewery, and a forge nearby. Um, you see that the roads around the vault itself are unobstructed. Small windows glint from high on the vault stone walls. Uh, you also do notice that there are two guards that keep watch on the second floor balcony, while another guard patrols the grounds around the structure. Um, Let me go ahead and bring your tokens over to this other map. That way you can at least get a visual of the outside of what we're dealing with here. So give me a second to copy your tokens and we'll bring you over to the vault. Do not worry, I'm going to put your characters right near the entrance, but obviously you're looking at this from a distance, perhaps maybe chilling at the brewery, having a flight. They got a Kolsch, they got a, nice double. There's a couple of stouts,
Ooh, good stout.
vanilla porter.
A porter. Mm.
The CPA, Cormorian Pale Ale.
Comerian Pale Ale. Okay. Nice.
But I guess we don't need the crow for now. Bring everyone over here to this map. Around the outside of the grounds here, you can see right above you, the characters are right here. I'm sorry, I bit my tongue earlier today. That's why I'm having trouble talking this evening. Obviously, the main entrance there, right above this is the balcony. You can see right above there are two guards that are stationed up there. They do seem to, there is one guard that is patrolling around the bottom ground level. Go ahead and move your tokens this way a little bit if you would. You do see that the balcony itself is accessed from a rope ladder that the guards, when the shift change, they climb up and down that rope ladder to get up to the balcony.
Okay.
Of course, you do notice from your distance that there is a set of double doors on the balcony itself. However, the guards do not enter or exit through those doors. They use the rope ladder to access the balcony, and they leave it hanging down to ground level.
Okay.
Passing around, if you wanted to get closer, there might be other information that you could get if you wanted to make me a group stealth check to try to get closer. Are you going to use Arcane Eye?
So first, I was going to mention to the group that I can do lots of invisibility now. So if we want to wander around invisibly for an hour.
You can do lots of invisibility.
Ooh, okay.
So I have invisibility. I can cast at higher levels and add additional creatures.
Oh.
Sounds good.
Well, that sure is useful.
We'll do our stealth check.
So if we want, if we're ready and we want, I can throw down 3 castings of invisibility.
Oh, it would.
We won't be able to see each other. That's the only thing I've ever run into.
Mm-hmm.
We'd have to hold hands or find a way. I mean, message would work maybe, but or if we just want stealth for now, we could just stealth.
Message would break your invisibility because if you cast a spell, it breaks your invisibility.
Well, we can link raccoons and make a chain of raccoons between us. I have.
That's a good joke right there.
I have lots of them.
The joke in the chat. Why is leather armor good for stealth? Because it's made from hide.
Nice.
Oh, ha, ha.
Look at you 2 DMs joking around.
And okay, so here's what I take out this string. I have a long string that I do happen to carry all the time for various purposes. And I say, hey, if we're going to do this invisible, let's tie this to each other's belt. That way we can keep track.
The guard just sees a string floating around in the.
Well, would the string be invisible?
It would be, yes.
If it's attached to our person.
Oh, to attach it first and then cast it. Gotcha. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So.
Are you sure that's the Stinkfoot's the wizard?
Where's my intelligence? I said I've never done this before. All right.
I know. So you don't have to move around, but you. Well, actually, let's just do this. Let me make sure that Explorer mode is on. Yes, Explorer mode is on. Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
So here is. I'm just going to move you around here. That's the rope ladder to get up to the second floor.
Okay.
This is the exterior of the building. So you have an idea. Oops. Everyone give me perception checks, please.
Will do.
Come on, 9.
Oh no.
Nice. When you get about right into this area, beyond these walls, you can hear animal noises.
Okay.
Could I argue to try and listen to hear what kind of animals?
You could try it to attempt to.
Would that be nature?
Let me see. What was your perception? Was it 12? Yes, you can roll a nature check if you want, but it would be a disadvantage.
I'll give you my inspiration if you want.
Offset it? Sure.
Okay, so straight roll nature.
Yeah. Oh, natural 20.
Nailed
For
it.
23.
Thank you.
You can.
Stinkfoot.
You definitely think that you hear sounds of perhaps reptiles,
Okay.
like maybe lizards. You do hear the hissing of snakes. and you do hear growling, almost like that of large cats.
Oh,
Okay.
Let's go back and get Crazy Cat Lady.
I found the biggest stray cats you've ever seen. It's a puma.
The secret door is right here.
Okay.
all right.
Can we see how it may open? Like, can we find the secret door? Would be the better way to word that.
Yeah, go ahead and give me investigation or perception checks with advantage. Yes, you can definitely figure out how to open it silently.
Ooh, very nice.
Okay. Good to know.
Just gathering all the intel here.
For the
Also, go ahead and give me a
windows-
go ahead and give me a group stealth check too. By the way, please.
Yeah.
Keep in mind it is an advantage since you are invisible. 18, 11, and 19. Okay, that's a good group check. No problem. They weren't heard or spotted moving around invisibly outside.
Awesome.
I'm going to leave your
Yes.
tokens here. I'm going to go ahead and move you back over to our start page, which, since we are getting ready to come close to the end of the stream, to discuss how you would like to approach. You have a fairly good representation with the map now with a handout
hmm
to figure out how you'd like to do that, or do you want to save that for next week?
Maybe get a tentative plan, and then
Okay.
uh, go back over it next week, and maybe in between time, some ideas may,
Pop
come
in.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, pop in. So, um, any thoughts right away, guys? I have a couple, but
Quick question on that map. What floor were those windows on?
That was the first floor that you were looking
Okay.
through.
So all the windows we saw were from the first floor. So there was one by
Uh-huh.
the ladder, 3 on the back side, and then 1 by the break room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just making sure I marked all that on my map properly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, I guess base plan, we have a free entry if we can skirt the guards through the gem room. We just have to be careful of that trap.
yeah, that's my go-to. It seems like we just go through the secret door, but it also seems too easy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe keep that in mind. I think that'd be awesome to do that, but then we got to think about actually where we're trying to get to. So if we're trying to get this thing, where would it be located?
Oh.
On the map it says Vidorant space. Would it be up, on the upper floor? She wouldn't just keep it down there, in the safe near the break room. If it's such a valuable thing that, well, valuable to her for her reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably easily surmise the two big, huge square rooms with question marks on them.
Yeah. So
That's probably where those
yeah.
are. Yeah.
So
It
getting
would be worth mentioning. I have been working on a new trick, if you will.
oh
I have recently discovered the ability to silence an area of noise.
Very nice.
I know.
So if that can
Quiet.
help us at all, if we
Might
get
be something to keep
spotted.
in mind. Yeah, it might be something to keep in mind too for Stinkfoot to double check what spells you have that do not have verbal components.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Ha ha ha.
So
I was
before
good.
next week, yeah. I was gonna say
I was-
before next week, yeah. Have Stinkfoot look those up.
Yep,
Go ahead,
I was
I'm sorry.
just about to say, like, is that going to mess up any of the spell casting you have if we have to cast it on us in a pinch, or is, we have a little bit of time to review that? But
There you go.
I can create a bubble where no noise can leave or enter the space.
All right. Something to think about then, Stinkfoot, for next week. Double check what spells you have that don't have verbal components or inventive ideas of how to get around that. All right. So next week we'll be ready to go to actually put the heist and plan in motion. Does anyone have anything to say before we sign off for the evening? Please stick around. We will be sending out a raid. I'll check that out here shortly as well.
Yeah.
I was just going to say it's great to be back playing.
Yes.
We've had a few weeks off here in the summertime, and it's it feels good to be back in the game.
And
That
a quick
it does.
thank you to chat for bearing with us while we were on break. It's great to see you all again. We're happy to be here.
Yes, thank you. Anything else, Design Lizard?
I am good, thanks. I'm just trying to figure out how to cast Fireball without saying. I guess I'll need a wand or a necklace.
Theoretically, when you hold a spell as like a hold action, you're saying all the components and everything before the cast. Is that how that works?
Yeah, what we'd have to do is that it would if you are holding a spell and then silence is cast and then you're ready the spell to release it. I'll have to double check on the things for that. But of course, if you the ready condition isn't triggered or you're not able to finish it or whatever, you would lose the spell slot. But that's why most of the time it's just best to prep a cantrip. That way you don't have to worry about losing.
Oh
anything.
yeah, but if the spell was readied before silence and then silence happened and it was triggered because it was readied, would you still be able to cast that spell in the silence?
I would definitely look at it. I can look that up for you. Definitely be ready for that to answer next week. Definitely.
That's one
All
I
right.
have no idea. So it's like
We have a question about the spells. Can sign language replace verbal components?
Unfortunately, no.
From Zara.
a somatic.
And I was thinking,
gesture.
well, then it would be somatic gesture, exactly.
We could maybe argue that if we were playing homebrew and come to something of that nature, but since we are playing Adventurers League for our Sunday night games, we do have to go rules as written. So, unfortunately, not able to make any homebrew rules and everything. No, I wasn't taking it as a joke, Art. I was taking it as a serious question, though. That's a good question, especially something to discuss on our stream on Tuesday for our Dungeons and Deliberations, which I did want to announce. I'm going to be doing that instead of our 6 to 7. I'm going to be running that from 7 to 8. It is my father's birthday on Tuesday, and I'm going to go to dinner with them. So we're going to go ahead and move our stream of that on Tuesday night from 7 to 8 o'clock. Might even leave that as a permanent thing as I finish up this running of Dragonlance, getting very close to the end of the hardcover with a group that I'm working with on Tuesdays. So we'll probably end up moving that Dungeons and Deliberations from its normal time right now to a later time as well. We're going to discuss all that tomorrow, but we'll be back tomorrow evening for Around the Campfire horror games. Right now it is 7 Days to Die. The fun zombie survival and horror game. But thanks, of course, to all of our supporters, all the viewers who stopped by tonight, especially our patrons from Patreon. If you want to help support the channel, please consider becoming a patron there or subbing here on Twitch. If you have Prime Gaming, you can get a free sub every month to a Twitch channel. We definitely accept those Prime subscriptions. We'd love that. Of course, the link to our Patreon page, as well as our YouTube and all of our social media accounts, can be found in the About Us section below here on Twitch, twitch.tv/themasterofdungeons. If you would subscribe to us on YouTube, like and comment on the videos, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, give us some likes, retweets, all of that stuff. Every sub, like, and share does help us immensely. If you want to join our community Discord server, in the About Us section below, there's the Discord panel. Click on that and it'll give you an invite to the Master of Dungeons Discord community server. Lots of great people there. You can help shape a accepting, caring, and inclusive community. Our merch store is available as well. I know we've been gone hit and miss for July, but we did get that up just before, I think sometime middle of June, we got it running. The merch store is available for shirts and hats, glassware, things of that nature. And of course, tips are always welcome, but never expected. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully we'll see some of you tomorrow night for our Around the Campfire. Until then, as always, happy adventuring. Take care. Stick around for the raid.